Coming up on Cogeco News, the latest on COVID-19. Businesses open on the outside, soon to be open restaurant-wise on the inside. And will there be any of this in the fall? In North Bay, iffy at best. Logan, everybody, welcome to this Wednesday edition of Cogeco News. I'm Greg Estabrooks. As of tomorrow, the 16th of July, you'll be able to do your business at City Hall. It's a bit of a reminder, that is, if your business is on the main floor. The city's Customer Service Center will offer in-person services weekdays between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. for tax and water payments, parking rental sales, burn permit purchases, and parking ticket payments. Public access, though, will be restricted to first floor services only. Access to residential rental housing, business, marriage and lottery licensing, as well as building plan submissions and permit issuance will continue to be available by appointment only, and we'll update that for you on Thursday's edition of Cogeco News. Now to the board. 289 COVID-19 tests done, 17,301 overall. We have no new news on that front. All cases have been resolved. Of course, we had one tragic fatality. Stage 3 is here and will be flexed out on Friday to a greater degree. But what exactly does that mean to North Bay's business community? Chamber President and Chief Executive Officer Peter Chirico hopes it means progress, but progress with an adherence to health and safety rulings. It's time again for Chamber Chat.
It's really nice to see that it's here. There's a lot of pent-up demand, both from business owners that need to get open again, plus also the public is I think they're due and they're ready to get going. But I also see, and we're hearing, that there's a lot of safety concerns, a lot of that people want to be safe and make sure that this isn't the leading edge to the second wave or whatever the case may be that we see that's happened down in the U.S. So I think most people are going to buy into the safety element. I certainly hope, and we're certainly encouraging it from all of our business owners to make sure that they're safe. I know in our particular situation about the reopening of the Chamber office, we're not going to open right away. We're going to get everything in place. Obviously, 5 days is not usually enough time. We don't know all the details yet, and Friday we should hear from the provincial government as to what those details are going to be.
Because I did speak to a gym operator. I also spoke to a well-known local businessman. There's still a little bit of confusion about mask wearing inside at a restaurant or in a gymnasium, and I guess that still has to be sorted out. And I'm sure business people in town want to know from the Chamber or from health unit what's going on.
Well, and that's the key. And they the health unit right at this point in time, they don't know, and they won't know until Friday as well as to what that's going to look like, because the province has not yet brought out all of the measures that they're going to do. Certainly, I know that there's the movement for mask wearing here in North Bay, that it is going to be mandatory for inside public gatherings. And you know what? I certainly hope that all residents in our entire district heed those warnings and make sure that they follow them, because it's for their safety and the safety of others.
Oh, you're not being named Sergeant at Arms. That went to Douglas C. Niedermeyer, a big fan. I know you're a big fan of his.
Huge fan.
But you are being named an honorary colonel. What does that mean to Peter Chirico?
It's quite an honor for myself, and especially when I take a look at the people that I'm following into that role, that have done so much for our community and the base, to be able to make them part of our community. And that's really what the honorary colonel role is about, is linking the community with our armed forces. And there's no greater honor as far as I'm concerned. I did not serve in the military in any shape, fashion, or form, but I'm certainly welcoming the opportunity to bring that base into our community and continue the great work that's been done by so many honorary colonels before me.
And it's a little more than just ceremonial. There is a bit of vetting done before one gets to put on the uniform.
Yes, it's been a process, I will say, and unfortunately with COVID and all of these things, that it was slightly delayed, and really thanks to George Burton for staying on well past his date of departure original, but he's done a tremendous job, and to fill those shoes, those are big shoes to fill. He's done a tremendous job as the honorary colonel, representing our community with the armed forces.
We stay with Cogeco News, but we go outside of our typical broadcast area for this story, delivered by reporter Melissa Candelaria. She's in our Halton bureau for the latest on a mob-style hit in that locale that is attracting not only local and national attention, it's delivering international attention. Here's Melissa.
Well, Greg, it almost seems like a scene straight out of a mafia movie. Halton police are still investigating a double shooting in Burlington that left an Ontario mobster dead. Halton police have confirmed that the victim was 52-year-old Pat Musitano, reported boss of the Musitano crime family in Hamilton. The shooting happened here in a Burlington parking lot at 484 Plains Road East Friday afternoon. When officers arrived on scene, Musitano and another victim was found shot. What we can tell you is that Halton police is still on the hunt for the shooter and are looking for a suspect vehicle.
We do believe that the suspect fled in a gray Infiniti sedan westbound on Plains Road shortly after the incident.
Police say the vehicle would have had a sunroof and damage to the driver's side of the car. Meanwhile, they have set up this electronic sign in their efforts to get any information from the public. Elms says in investigations like this, we want to use as much resources as we can.
We've had success with it in previous homicides that we've investigated, and we kind of put it in an area that's close to where the incident happened as a visual cue. This sign is placed facing eastbound on Plains Road, right at 484 Plains Road East, and the hope is that it's right near the traffic lights there. And the hope is that obviously that would trigger somebody that might have been in the area. We are seeking witness information, anybody that was in the area through dash cam footage, surveillance video, anybody that might have seen something as they were walking or driving by. Either call Crime Stoppers with any information or our homicide tip line at 1-905-825-4776.
Now, I do want to add that because this was a targeted hit, Halton police don't believe that there is any risk to the general public. Now, Greg, the interesting part about this was, according to reports, this wasn't the first attempt Mustiano's life was in danger. Metroland Media reported that Mustiano was shot multiple times last year in Mississauga. Meanwhile, here's a bit of history for you. This crime family was founded in the 1940s and was one of 3 centralized mafia organizations in Hamilton. Pat Mustiano took over as head of the crime family following the death of his father, Dominic Mustiano, in 1995. With that, Greg, I'll throw it back to you.
Thank you so much, Melissa. Thanks to the recent rain, the fire ban has been lifted, but not so fast. The lighting of fireworks flies in the face of city bylaws. The explosive celebrations are permitted only during specific times if no fire ban is in place at that time. And we clarify the rules surrounding fireworks with North Bay Fire Chief Jason Whiteley.
Right now it's illegal to set off fireworks in North Bay. So the only time that you can set off fireworks are on it's 7 days before the designated holiday. So that's the way the bylaw reads right now. So you're only allowed to sell fireworks for 7 days before a designated holiday in the bylaw, and you're only allowed to set off fireworks during those 7 days. So right now, fireworks are not allowed in the city of North Bay.
And the next opportunity would likely be the Civic Long Weekend, is that true?
It will be the Civic Long Weekend, and then we'll, depending on fire conditions, we'll determine if they need to be banned or not at that point.
When that time comes, if there is not a ban, what are some tips for lighting off fireworks safely?
Well, keep your distance, ensure that you're not too close to vehicles, homes, into, brush or ground covering that is easily ignitable. Make sure that you control it, understand how the firework is going to use. Never point a firework at somebody or fire it. And again, have an extinguishing, something to extinguish fires available.
And part of the inherent danger of fireworks, you don't know where it's going to go sometimes, and that match or that ignition source could land anywhere starting a fire.
Exactly.
So how do people kind of mitigate that? It's just find maybe over a lake is a good idea?
Or over a lake, an area that that the risk is very low. to firing off your fireworks.
No fireworks right now. We're going to go to the break. When we come back, Clark goes to the disco right after this. Welcome back, everybody. There is an 8-week-long outdoor disco party going on at both the YMCA and Canadore College's College Drive campus. It's not a traditional disco, no dancing involved. This disco is geared towards educating seniors around technology. Here's Clark Heipel, who has disco fever.
Yes, Greg, during this coronavirus pandemic, folks are staying at home, and for the senior population in North Bay and surrounding area, they may be shut in and needing some fresh air and needing some connections with people. Well, the YMCA and Canadore College stepping up big time, throwing a disco party. Disco standing for Digital Inclusion Senior Connection Opportunity. It's a hub to help seniors through technological literacy. Nicole Beatty is with the YMCA of North Bay. This program a perfect fit during COVID-19.
Safety is our first priority, and actually, Clark, what we did was we did 4 weeks of a focus group, thanks to Y members and Living Fit members as well, where we made sure that every precaution was taken. So pre-screening before they come into the program, making sure masks are available, the distancing, and also lots of hand sanitizer, and being outside.
The disco is held on 2 separate sites over 8 weeks. At the YMCA as well as Canadore College parking lot, Lot 8.
Well, Canada College, the Village, they are subject matter experts in working with seniors. They're highly collaborative, as is the YMCA. So when we came up with the program, we immediately got in contact with Canadore, and they were very open to helping us with the resources we needed to get things started.
Do you think it's easy to take technological literacy for granted if you're born in it and it's second nature, whereas a senior citizen may be just learning, and if you're given all this technology and don't know where to start, it can be a bit overwhelming?
Yeah, I think that definitely could be true, especially if they don't have the family supports to maybe walk them through some of the newer technology and even some of the new platforms that are popping up. We're learning them, and we've known technology for quite some time. So being able to have the hub and help seniors work through learning new platforms and even getting really familiar with their new devices has been very helpful, I think, for them.
I spoke to 2 participants of the hub, a wife and husband duo.
I learned about internet phishing and what to stay away from, the scams, and I learned touched a little bit on my Facebook. I'm going to go get a list of questions for next week so that I can fine-tune, so I don't have to rely on my grandkids and my kids for asking questions about how to use the Facebook.
Now, can technology be a little overwhelming when there's so much to do, so much to learn, and it's just like, where do you even start?
I think yes and no. I mean, when I was working, I've been retired for 2.5 years, but when I was working, I used the computer and the internet quite a bit, so I had some familiarity. It's just more on the personal use, the social media end of things, because mostly I just read. I don't post a lot because I'm not that comfortable posting.
I learned to turn my phone on. No, I've learned about fishing because it's easy to get caught up in it, and it's surprising how easy it is because people call and people post things, and you're not sure if they're actually real people that they're trying to help you or just rob you.
And how was fishing described for someone watching that doesn't know what fishing is other than in the lake? What is it?
Well, it's people trying to scam you out of money and offering you deals that are too good to be true. That's what you got to watch out for.
And if you're watching at home and want to dance on over to a disco, here's what you have to do.
They should call us at the Y. So they can contact the YMCA, ask to speak with Rhonda or Kirsty, and they can phone us at 705-497-9622. There is some information on our website as well at www.ymcaneo.ca.
And that partnership between the YMCA and Canadore College is fruitful for this 8-week program. You have an opportunity to sign up. You're urged to pre-register as this program will run until the end of August. Reporting for Cogeco News from the YMCA on Chippewa Street, I'm Clark Heupel. Let's send it back to Greg at the news desk.
Our sponsored concert series continues this week with a performance by North Facing Folk. It's what the Cap Center can do during a pandemic. They are limited, of course. Stage 3 for them means a little progress, but not enough to resume stage shows.
So our Shared Benefit Summer Concert Series is something that just kicked off last week. We've been doing virtual programming via our Facebook page since March, really, since we've closed. So this is something that patrons can go to the Facebook page, and there'll be a link there to the YouTube show. It's a pre-recorded concert, but it's unique in that we're asking for donations. We're appealing to the public to support us during what has been an unusual few months for everyone, but we're splitting those donations equally with the artist. So the idea is that our local arts sector also is looking for support, and it's been a tough time for them as well, so we figured this was a good way that you patrons can support both the Capitol Center and the artist playing.
Obviously, Stage 3 announced this week. Most of the details have been fleshed out, but not all of them. What do you know, and what is that impact going to be on this establishment?
So the Phase 3 announcement is progress. We're moving forward. It's just one step, I think, in a series of many that's required before we can get to a point where we can have live entertainment again. Currently, it's not financially responsible for us to do an event for groups of 50 or fewer. So that's why we are still focusing on the virtual programming efforts, and donations are still critical during this time, hence the Shared Benefit Concert Series.
Could you do something upstairs in the lounge?
We definitely could get creative and look at ways of doing stuff, events with smaller groups of people, and we are having those conversations, the same conversations we were having a few months ago when we had to put everything online. So it does allow us to have some gatherings within the center, and we're going to have a board meeting, and there's opportunity for more staff to be on site. So it's progress, but we have to see kind of what fits within our current staffing levels and the workloads as they stand. We are excited to announce that the WKP Kennedy Gallery is opening next week. It will be by appointment only, so you'll have to get in touch with Alex via email, but the information is up on the gallery website and Facebook page, and she'll just have a few appointment slots as we ease into things, and there will be some requirements for visitors that are coming to the gallery, but we have a great exhibition that's being installed right now, so we're hopeful that the public will be excited to come out and see that.
And let's hope they are. We'll update that as well. Break time has arrived here on Ye Old Newscast. Streets with, well, different names are going to be profiled by the one and only Clark Heupel back from his 17-day birthday celebration. He'll also have the weather forecast right after this.
Weather is brought to you by Canadore College. Great things happen here.
Sweet 16. Welcome back to Cogeco News. I'm Clark Heipel here in the Whitfield neighborhood. I am here, I'll tell you specifically where in a few seconds, for your 5-day weather forecast brought to you by Canadore College. Yes, it is episode 16 of Streets You Did Not Know Existed. We have rifled through 15 already. Time flies, and we've had a little bit of a hiatus due to my vacation. However, I am back, I am refreshed, and I am ready to work with Greg once again. Pleasure as always. Well, episode 16 brings me to the Whitfield neighborhood. Just a couple cars have driven by. It's a very quiet neighborhood. Been stationed here for about 15 minutes, getting kind of a view of the neighborhood and a sense of things. On this street I am standing, which I will tell you the name of, and I teased a little bit earlier on today on that Facebook Live video. There are 4 structures, 4 addresses to this street, and 2 of them part of a duplex, and the other 2 are separate houses. So at least 4 families know where this street is and what the name of the street is. It is also the name of the capital of the Lone Star State, Texas. The name of the street I am standing on today for episode 16 is Austin. Austin Street in the Whitfield neighborhood. Will rain fall on this street on this Wednesday night? It is quite possible, as there is a 60% chance of thunderstorms, and with that inclement weather brings precipitation. Let's take a look at that 5-day forecast brought to you by Canadore College. All right, time to get back into a rhythm now. Overnight on this Wednesday night, risk of a thunderstorm as we're mild at 20 degrees for the nighttime low. Winds picking up to 40 kilometers per hour, and they diminish as we near midnight, and there's a 60% chance of inclement weather. On Thursday, the 16th of July, that date is significant as it is the 51st anniversary of the launch of Apollo 11 just after 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time 51 years ago. Chance of thunderstorms on Thursday. High 26 with the humidex making it feel more like mid-30s and the UV index high at 6. Overnight Thursday night, low 18. Friday, the 17th of July, a sunny day. 28 and 18 for the high and low with clear skies. 18th of July, high 30 and a low of 20 with sun. And Sunday, just a day away from the 51st anniversary of the moon landing. That will be on Monday. However, Sunday, high 29, low 18, sun and cloud mix. Turning the page back to the almanac on the last day of my vacation. It was a nice day down south. Here, apparently it was as well. High 26, low 12 was the high and low. The normals, close at 25 and 15. At 25 and 14 for the normal high and low. Well, that does it for your 5-day weather forecast. Do stay tuned. Greg's standing by for your sportscast. And in this fairly circuitous tie-in to sports, I did mention that Apollo 11 launch anniversary being tomorrow. What about golf on the moon? That happened less than 2 years after the Apollo 11 launch. In February of 1971, Alan Shepard swung a sand wedge on the moon. Sports on Earth, right after this.
Sports is brought to you by Tag Construction for all your construction needs.
Welcome back, everybody. Sports locally, nationally, internationally, of course, taking a big hit because of the pandemic. High school sports got cut off in March. Will they return this fall? For just retired St. Joe Scholar Hall senior football coach John Whitted, it's a concern time for those carrying sports forward as coaches, athletes, and players.
And I think a lot of us, especially the NDA football coaches, that's our thing. We're not making football players, we're making better men. And this is really going to have some impact. I've talked to a few parents and I've talked to yourself and some other, and their boys are really disappointed that they won't have that opportunity to play because it's the ultimate team game.
The fact that, there hasn't been an official word yet about the fall, but the fact that, team sports were canceled beginning in March, individual sports were canceled because of COVID at high schools, and now in the fall there's so much uncertainty again. For the psyche of male and female athletes, it doesn't matter.
Nope.
It's not a good time.
No, there's a lot of kids, and I have a daughter the same and a son that are both going through this too. So they don't know, their futures are uncertain, and they love sports. It's their friends, it's their whole social. It's such a big part of them. We're going to get through it. It's just unfortunate, right, that they have to be the generation that has to battle through this.
That is it for news, weather, and sports for this Wednesday. Much more Cogeco News live at 5 on Thursday. See you then.